In the past 4 months, my husband and I are trying to have a baby. You're going to have a baby with your lymph system this bad? No. You want your baby's lymph system to be a mess, sweetheart? You got to clean your lymph system before you have a baby, because that baby's going to live in you for 9 months, hopefully. And you don't want your baby to have the same lymphatic system and skin problem. Oh, wait. What's a big deal to wait 6 months and really get this and get it cleaned up and fix your life up? 6 months, so what? Don't jump emotionally and have a child. You don't want children out of emotions anyway. Wrong way and wrong reason. I know the last 4 years are very important for the development of, the first 4 years are very important for the development of the brain and the body. They need high intake of protein, fat, and calcium. Wrong. Wrong. When you feed babies high protein, high fats, it has some serious problems with your babies. You have to be careful. And now with the young babies more compromised in their hepatic, liver, gallbladder areas and in their pancreatic areas, they can't even tolerate mother's milk. Now, protein doesn't develop the brain. I don't know what people are thinking. Amino acids are essential in the development of cells and things like that to a certain extent. Most of them are carriers. So the real need of any Homo sapien, and actually any vertebrae on this planet, is carbon. Like it or not. And carbon is sugar, galactose in milk, fructose in fruits, and glucose in veggies. All right? You first must understand as a mother and a father what species the Homo sapien belongs to if you want to get right on point and understand how to feed them. Because if you feed them high proteins, you're feeding them way out of what you should. And this will only create more kidney damage, more hepatic and GI tract damage in these babies. You can't do it. High fat. Human mama's milk is not high fat, high protein. Cow's milk is. Look at the difference in the rate of growth and the different species. You're comparing a Homo sapien baby to a calf, a baby calf. Different species, different rate of size at birth, and different growth factors. You feed babies cow's milk, and you might as well just sit there and clog their lymph systems. And with today's problems in the baby's adrenals and kidneys, you run the risk of giving tumors and getting your baby cancer doing these things. You want healthy babies. You want raw food babies. Where would you think in 1 minute that cooking food or grains or meats are superior foods than fruits and vegetables? That would be ridiculous thinking. You have to allow some understanding that the human body knows what it's doing with the nutrition that you're feeding it. Understanding the nutrition, if you think you feed your babies different than the adults, you're mistaken. These are little Homo sapiens. To develop a baby's neurological system and brain, you have to have high fruits and high berries. You don't do that, and you don't develop neurologically. Look at all the cases we've had where we put them on the fruits and the berries for different reasons, cancers and whatever, and they soared academically. Those youngsters that go on fruit soar academically, soar in comprehension levels, beyond what people think. It's your high protein fat babies that are like this all the time, colicky, always neurologically jittery, never peaceful and quiet. And that's what you're looking for. You're looking for health. There's health in a baby. Why would you ever feed any animal, any human, anything cooked? So you have to get back to realize that your baby is just like you, and you get your baby well just like you. I have had hundreds of babies, and we have gotten tons of them well, away from cancers, at least what medical doctors call cancers. We've done a tremendous amount of work. Some, though, have come to us in advanced stages. We couldn't even save them. Brings a tear to your eye when you understand why. They were put on high-protein and high-fat diets. Let me tell you, I could turn you on to some mothers that would make your ears burn and your eyes cry because they were on high-protein, high-fat diets and the medical doctors killed them. You can't do that. And you don't want to believe in that. If you believe in that, feed your child that. But let me tell you, you won't have a healthy baby. And you can't afford, you parents, to have unhealthy children in a world that's gone insane medically and every other way. Take a look at the obits, at the children dying. Back in the 90s, I didn't even see that amount of children dying. In the 90s, that was only a few years ago. But it's not just being a raw foodist. We're taking you deeper into the understanding of genetics and what people's lymph systems looks like from all the past generations. And it isn't pretty. So there's a lot of fixing to do. So you just can't worry about that. You just have to get in and fix your bodies, make your children healthy. But you don't feed them the same thing that got humans sick. The milks, the meats, this is what all got humans sick. The grains, there's nothing healthy about any of these things. They're all out of chemical balance to what nature produces, and they're mostly man-grown. Not nature-produced, man-produced. Nature produces living things, fruits, veggies, greens, that sort of thing, period. Man's the one that's cultivating and hybriding and creating some of these things. Didn't say it was good for you. So we put a lot of faith in rice and starches. Wrong. And hope you have babies that don't have, got genes from others. Or start working on your baby's nervous systems. And how do you work on your baby's nervous system? This is your mamas that are having little infants. Vegetables are not brain. Look at which animal's the smartest and what their body's designed to eat. Fruits and berries have the highest nutrition. Get this, if we're not talking about chemistry anymore, let's just talk about magnetics. Let's talk about physics. Let's talk about energy. It is well established that the fruit and the berries have the highest electromagnetic energy on this planet, food-based. So why would you not want to consume them since they fit our anatomy and physiology perfectly? They have the highest chemistry of all the fruits, of all the foods. They have the highest electromagnetic energy of all the foods. They're the only food that really regenerates neurons. You get to see where I'm going with all this? You won't see fatty babies, fatty legs on the babies. That's from high protein, high fat. You get your fatty little babies. No, you want solid babies. You want solid. You don't want flabby. And fats and proteins create flabby. We don't want to hurt our babies because of our lifestyle. Okay? Babies have different needs to develop their organs in the first 4 years. Like what? Could you explain to me like what? You have growth of the skeletal system. You have growth of the nervous system. You have comprehension level growth. You have all that sort of thing. But these are Homo sapiens. And how you make an adult Homo sapien healthy is how you make a baby Homo sapien healthy. Those people diagnosed with cancers, those people diagnosed with MS, all these conditions, these serious chronic and degenerative conditions, which is nothing more than the body's lymph system breaking back on the cells and burning them up. If you can get someone well, you can take an MS case, brain lesions, totally get them out of chairs and walking, and you've seen that, and do these things with the fruits, and you think your baby needs something above that? Doesn't exist. Nothing exists above the chemistry of ripe berries and fruits. You got your vegetables, much more herbivore food, and for herbivores, most babies would have a hard time digesting vegetables, in my opinion. So I don't consider green drinks as a move toward babies. Fruits and berries, very much so. Because the problem with the adults right now is most adults that have babies are very toxic. The mothers, their lymph systems are backed up, all their organs and glands are down. That's what you have to be concerned about, is the genetics of the child. And that is no more than looking at yourself and your husband and your grandma and grandpa on both sides. And just figure your babies are worse by 10, 20 years. So you're going to see the same problems in your babies 10 to 20 years quicker than you're seeing them. Why wouldn't they? You have to understand how genetics is, that every cell in your body is a genetic cell. So you're asking me that you don't want to hurt your baby on your lifestyles, yet you have the highest nutritional and energetic lifestyles out there. You see what I'm saying? You can't let your mind and your build you with fear that somehow you're doing the best lifestyle out there, but your babies need something better. There isn't any better than raw foods. And of the raw foods, which is all animals eat, which do you think is better? Dead tissue? I don't think so. We can argue that. Easy to win that argument. We don't even have anything that shows that we can deal with animal products in our body at all. All right, so beans. You got a dead food. You got to sprout them and make a vegetable out of them before you can eat them, and not get the gas from all the sulfur and all that, and all the enzyme inhibitors and all that. So grains. What's a grain? Is a dyed polysaccharide, meaning too much sugar. It's a starch. That's not healthy. Where else are we going here with food that would be better for your children? Milk? What kind of milk? The only milk that your baby could tolerate other than a healthy mother's Homo sapien milk would be a primate milk. Because when you leave that realm and you go into the intensity of the protein and lipid content of a cow's milk, you're doing your baby one of the greatest injustices you could ever do them. And especially pasteurized. If the mother that's breastfeeding is eating high proteins, and she's drinking dairy products and cheeses and ice creams and stuff, that's what you want to fear. That's what you should be fearing. Because that will only blow back on the baby. Fill the baby full of mucus, and now you got to deal with colds and flus, mumps and measles, tonsillitis, all the childhood lymphatic problems that we see in our society. And we blame God for that. Microbes, bacterium, virus. Nobody's blaming what you're putting in the body. So you have to understand, my dear ones, you're unjustly scared. How is any other diet other than a raw food diet healthy? It ain't. You can't prove by processing and cooking or pasteurizing a food that you make it better. How could you ever begin to think that? You destroy it, both chemically and physics, magnetically, electrically. And that's better? That's ridiculous. People have to understand there's nothing better than the food nature makes for you. We have thousands of babies on raw foods. That's how you protect them. You want to protect your babies? You fix their genetic weaknesses before it's too late. You make sure their kidneys are filtering. You can work on them early on. Because we have infants on these herbs. Very sick, serious infants. I'm coming from a position of working on babies for 40-some years. So I know quite well. You can get the coconut milks and the coconut waters. Incredible. Plenty of lipids. You don't want high-protein diets for Homo sapiens. You're not good. Not good. Protein in itself, not good. You want plenty of adequate amino acids. You get plenty here. If you listen to our society, who's so sick from believing its own concept and ideas, then you bought into the wrong picture. Our society is sick because it believes what it's telling itself. And it's telling itself these conditioned thoughts from propaganda, from the Dairymen's Association, the Cattlemen's Association. Years and years ago, they brainwashed people to think that drinking milk was a good thing. Is it really? especially at a totally different species that gets quite large. No way. This is why we are facing all our lymphatic problems, guys. Now, how can we make sure they get enough protein, high fat, calcium, vitamins, B12, iron, and so on and so on and so on and so on? Yeah, fix the genetic weaknesses. Half of this is the adrenal glands. Your B12, your iron, fix their adrenal, your calcium, fix the parathyroid. So you want all this, you want to go to the raw. You go high fat, you get your baby in trouble. You go high protein, you'll get your baby in trouble. We get in trouble with those. You don't give your baby high fat and high protein diet. Look at all these formulas. That's just what they are. High fat and high protein. You're asking me, how can we raise our babies on our society's thinking, and yet we're all vegans because we know better? I don't get that. Sorry, not being mean here, but I don't get that. Your question is almost an oxymoron, sweetheart, because you're in the same race. The big deal here is the genetic weaknesses. Remember, the metabolism of iron and cobalt and all the cofactors for B12 come out of the adrenal glands. How about calcium? Everything has calcium in it. Everything. I know about almond milk and coconut milk, but is it enough? Raw, not pasteurized. It's more than enough. Almost almond milk can be too much protein. Got to be careful. When your baby starts to get mucousy, colicky, pull away. You're too concentrated of a food. Baby can't handle it. The article above shows serious matter of deficiencies and malnutrition with babies eating vegan only. Well, screw that article. I've never seen it. I've personally never seen any deficiencies and stuff. What I've seen is a hospitals full of babies now following the dietary habits that our society recommends. That's what I see. I don't see any of our babies in hospitals with deficiencies. Never seen that. So you have to look a little deeper at these baby genetics and all the other stuff. Not eating raw foods and stuff like that. Sorry, that's a total misconcept. Some of this shit is written by assholes, pardon my French, but you have to forgive me because this gets unnerving after a while. After 40-some years of hearing this crap, and our society think, oh, and comes out with articles like this, or that one guy on the article that detox doesn't exist. These elitists who think they know everything are the ones who got us all in trouble. Your babies don't get deficient on raw foods because there is no deficiency to raw foods. And if you're juicing them, you're compacting that nutrition. If you worry about anything, you worry about the genetic weaknesses and giving them society's thinking. Milks, proteins, things like this. That's where babies are getting sick, not on raw foods. Now they're getting better, so I don't care what articles say. Like, I don't buy into that because I've had too many years working with babies. Why do I buy into somebody that has an agenda to smash the raw food people and smash this? They don't understand it's bringing their own world down when they go after us. It's bringing their own worlds down. Because they're trying to stamp out any option that humans would have to get well. But that's the negative forces. And that's just what right now the negative forces want. They want you. I'm just saying, be awake and be aware, because today isn't the time to be ignorant and unaware. And buying into articles and crap like this, you got to research and understand that. We've had so many babies on the coconut milks and the raw foods. It's amazing to see. I don't like to go back to dead food, but our babies are an important issue here. Well, did you see what you just said? I don't want to go back to dead food, but if dead food makes our babies healthier, then we're going to go back to it. Don't walk, sweetheart, with fear. Walk with knowingness. Because you know raw. This is common sense. Do not walk with fear. If you walk with fear, they'll chew you and your baby right up. And it's whatever you want, though. Run your babies how you want them. But I can tell you, if you want a superior baby, you raise them on raw. And you raise them as high as you can on the fruits and the berries and the coconut stuff. Go into nature and look at how nature takes care of the babies. But look what the parents are eating in nature. But which species are you going to go to if you're going to look at that? There's only one species that matches the Homo sapien, and you know what it is. You don't go to horses and cows and elephants and go, look, my baby needs to eat that. You don't go to dogs, hogs, bears, and chickens, which are omnivores. You don't go to them and say, that's what my baby needs to eat. Because my baby doesn't look like either one of those groups. Of course, carnivores are so far away, there's not even an argument there. You're stuck with frugivores, sorry. But, with that said, we're coming out of generations of omnivores eating and very sick, sick people. So it's time we have to get our babies well. And how much fruit should a toddler or a young child be eating? I don't know. I don't know. My grandson eats when he's hungry. He'll walk around with a grape stem, picking the grapes and eating them. When he's done, he just sets them down. He goes back when he wants more. We develop intuitiveness to eating. No, you have to sit down and eat your supper. That's not good. Intuitive eating, that's better because you eat when you're hungry. And babies love high fever, so don't freak out when your baby starts to detox when you put them on fruits. They're going to detox just like anyone else, the little humans. Parents, I love you guys, and your kids, and just all I can tell you is please work on the health of your kids and yourselves, particularly your kids. Because I can tell you, in this world, they'll grab them away from you and they'll destroy them. And we're at a pretty bad place now in that way, and that has to explode open. So we can't just society can't keep butchering our children for the sake of what? Let me think. For the sake of money.